Morning. Morning, everyone. Let's get into it. So, hey, give her a break. Give her a break. So, I'm going to keep an eye on my cats today, so I may be in and out. But earlier, I opened Substance and it just immediately crashed as soon as I tried baking, which I suppose isn't too surprising. All right, mode, bake, and looks like we're missing our low poly update. Jacket too low, jacket high. So we need to go back and re-export the high poly as well. Wait for it to load. Export all collections. We're gonna have to adjust our. Should just be those two. Boom. Bake. Yeah. Cats are just chilling right now. We got these dark shadows here, and that must be because we require. On here we have the subdivision, but adding a solidify will also help. Use thickness 0 and turn off the fill. That should ensure things correct. Let's set this to 1. Maybe. Save again. Back to Painter. Take one more time. All right, looking better. Okay, very good. Let's look at the jacket. On our buttons, we can change our color selection. What color are we looking for here? This is a nice green. So let's find our buttons. Try to make them green. It's got to be probably this one. Nice. Okay. Then let's look at the hem. We also sample the color here, and this one is black and red, which was that again? I think it's these edges here. So we'll just do the red. Need a little bit more distance there. Maybe. Or maybe I need to flip the normals. Oh, no, wait, sorry. The normals are fine. Normals are fine there. It's just the material color. So that'll be up top. I'd love to get up here the trim as well. So we can just swap that out. So easy peasy. Yeah, I take that back. This one should be its own thing. Do green, even like a teal. Okay, good stuff. Now these ones here. It's the main body. It looks like we don't actually have the cuffs being a separate material anymore. Bit of a bummer. Gorgeous. I think that that's pretty much all we need. Beautiful. We got that working now. So let's go back to our buttons. And on their height, we've already set that up correctly, but I do want to ensure that the layer replaces. That way we get a nice smooth edge. I might even do some anti-aliasing here. That's a little rough looking. So we'll do a filter here for anti-aliasing. That looks a lot better. That's very crunchy. It does look, for the most part, correct. This does not look correct. Right here. There were a lot more edges last time. We had like a crease up here. Is the power of good mask workflow. It's just being able to resample. I don't have to set up anything again. Beautiful. Might be nice to split right here. And maybe even solidify this whole strip. In the middle. And here on these panels as well. These little pockets look nice. This does not look so good though. Okay, let's add another layer. We'll do template flat. Drop this right here. And we'll call this one for color. Go ahead and add a color selection as well. Or right there. We'll do height, set the height to place. Assuming we'll need to make this dark. Very cool. Probably going to use a fur shader, make that trim, because I could try to manually do it, but it's pretty uniform. Don't really feel the need. So, cool. Yeah. That really did not make as much of a difference as I would have liked. Um, hmm. Hmm. It's all right. Okay, I know of a way to do it. What we'll do is we'll go to the jacket, and we already made this for the fur collar. Lower to the base of everything, we're going to drop in another layer. We'll call these ones seams. And we'll drop a generator because we can select the UV border generator, which is great. And that allows us to target these very directly. Do something like that. All right, I'm gonna get rid of that and go back to here. We're going to work on these directly. We're going to apply our weld modifier. We're going to go in and select some of these loops. I don't know why the view distance is kind of fucked. It was the subdivision. Which I'll disable for now. Much better. Beautiful. It's separated for some reason. So I guess we will need to bevel it. Huh. Not even like selecting anything? Strange. It's not letting me bevel. What do I do about that then? Why don't we take this strip and we're just gonna we'll just separate it. Put it on its own thing. Jacket high. We'll call this zipper cover. And we'll just add or we'll take the solidify that's on it and kind of push it out a ways so we get some nice thickness. And that should, oh, and then one more set of things to do. Let's take our pockets and assign them to different material. That one. Cool. Export again. Turn to painter. Mode, bake. Push up that distance a little. Oh, interesting. It does not know what to do in here. In fact, I don't know if this is actually completed yet. It's like interior section. I think we need to go in and do some touch up. Save, bake. Also, is our subdivision applied? Look how crunchy that is. Must not be. Boom. Boom. Bake again. Okay, much better. Now we got these nice grooves on everything. Almost everything. This one could be a little bit better. Not quite the same thickness. A little crunchiness right there, but the side pocket looks really good. I like that. Nice little shadow. Don't particularly care for this crease there. I usually try to avoid sharper creases, but it is right in the elbow, so maybe it's appropriate. A little bit more editing. Let's take our edges here, and I'm going to extrude them. Try to get a little bit more of an edge there. And then on this side, it looks different. And it's really hard to see that. I might have just beveled it more. It's pretty thin. Okay, that looks roughly the same. I should have done all of the beveling at once. But made sure everything's the right thickness. Or used a modifier. Dang it. I got the subdivision again. But the crease looks better, so that's good. Take again. Okay. Gorgeous. Save. And I think let's start getting this into Unity. This is going to take a little bit to load. I'll take a little bathroom break while Unity is booting up. And we'll be back. All right, be right back. One moment. All right, I'm back. Sorry for the delay. My cat needed some help, so we went and helped her. All right, so we got a system error, which is a little surprising because it's all gone. Some sort of random system error. That's gone. Good. It's probably because it crashed. Ooh, first looking good. I really love it in motion too. Looks a lot better while it's moving. Okay, so now let's get our clothes into the game. So I'm going to turn this off here. We're going to actually move the full clothing edit above. Hide it. Go to clothing here. We're going to rename this to original. Then go to our low poly clothing. Don't know why that takes so long to load. So we're going to add, we already did the shrink wrap. We'll just apply that now because, ooh, that's why it's so busted. Good, we'll definitely need a rebake. And there is a gap right here, so we'll have to close that up. But first, I'd like to add a data transfer. What are we going to transfer? We're going to get the body low. No, not the body low. Not the body low. We're going to reference in clothing edit. That's clothing components. And we'll move this up top. Our stack. In here, we'll make an object. I believe this should work as long as all the data is in there. So what we'll do is we'll actually link it to the body. Make sure we've named it. Body low poly. Click here. Body. Now it's actually the data name too, and that way we can just sample it, and we're actually going to just click this. Why do that? So I don't want to use an instance. Instances are garbage for the most part. Like our UV map is messed up. Something not there. Gotcha. Incorrect UV map. So what we're going to do is actually just delete it and add a modifier, geometry nodes. We're going to join selected object to geometry. Guess what? We'll use the same one, body low. And I don't even need to do relative position. They're going to be in the same place. However, what I will add is a mask. And I want to mask the head. So we'll make a group here called mask underscore head. Copy. Would have been slightly more efficient to do this before I separated them, but only slightly. Great. We'll call this body clothing data transfer. We're going to put that into clothing components. Then we're going to go back to the low poly body. Yeah. And we'll make a mask. Same mask name. Mask head. And it's exactly as it sounds. We're just going to actually mask out the head. Because I don't want to transfer too much from the face. A lot of times, like the little lips and stuff will end up getting transferred with their data, and that gets really annoying after a while. So do that. Go back to our clothing components. Invert our mask. Beautiful. So now we're sampling just this. And we can go here. Data transfer right there. We have vertex data, vertex groups, nearest face interpolated, very important. Generate data layers. Now that works, and then we'll copy this over. I'm going to copy this as a driver. Actually, I probably need to move that. Copy as driver. Bam. Disable it, and then in the high poly clothing, and we'll add that one. You know what? Actually, I don't have to do that at all. There's no reason. There's no reason to change the high poly one. So let's leave that. Great. So now we can just toggle this on and off when we need it. I can actually probably leave it on, so it'll my modifier should remove that modifier, then apply the data transfer, so it should be in the correct position, hopefully. Go back down here. We have clothing original. We're going to make a clothing new folder. In here, we'll make two objects. This one will just be tank top. And the other one will be, you guessed it, jacket. Now, in our rapid update, we can add in the collections. We'll do jacket, to low poly, tank top, low poly, update, and update. Now we have those objects. Cool. What else? Additionally, we're going to add some modifiers like this one, fix alternate keep normals, copy to selected, and then parent to the rig, or child to the rig. Okay. Okay. So now these will be getting exported out to Unity with us, which is exciting. In fact, let's go ahead and get that out there right now. This is sore. I can't. I do something that makes my face sore, and I can never remember exactly what it is. I think I'm pressing my face too hard against the pillow or something, or I'm pursing my lips. But I always have to rediscover what it is. I'm doing this thing that it hurts myself, but I exactly remember. Okay, so I'll create a folder. We're going to call this clothing new. Show and explore. Copy the path. Save. Go here, File, Export Textures. New. Select that folder. Then we're going to use Poyomi version 10 and export at. I really will only be using them at 2048, so export. And the difference in loading time between 2048 or export time is significant. It's actually a lot more than you'd think. So we're going to duplicate Foxhound clothing. Maybe. Lock that shader. We're going to replace all those textures with our brands making new ones. Boom. Boom. Let's actually add it to the character. So if we go to the FBX file, materials, these don't have a material. I guess we'll add it. Foxhound new. Oops. I might need even need to use a geometry node to do that. Load, please. Okay. See if that works. There we go. Just 1 million bajillion years later. Bam. All right. Good stuff. We're seeing some intersection. That is expected. Right. New material created. Let's turn off our tank top. See how that looks. Cool. It'll look a lot cleaner once we can get rid of all these little spots where it's clipping through. Right there, and there, and there, and there, and there. Should be so difficult. And we need that geometry there. Okay. Additionally, what I'd like to fart around with is switching this to one of those Poyomi fur shaders. World fur or pro? Color. There we go. Starting to get a little fuzzy. Oof. Turn up the layer count. We don't want it too crazy. We do want a stronger noise. Yeah. Cool. So now we need a mask. Just didn't mean to open that. So now in texture sets, we'll go ahead and enable user 0. I'll probably change how I do masks quite a bit because before I was using mask like on an individual basis per feature of the Poyomi shader, but using the global masks is actually way better. It really just is. It's just a way better way to do it. Yeah. So we enabled the user 0, which is now a linear channel. We can look at it by going here. There is nothing. And now there is something like that. And on the color, just enable the other direction. Sure. Our selection. Actually add a paint on this one because it must be a sampling error. Save. See a little. No, that's good. Shift Control E, export, save. Bada boom. So now for the material, scroll down to the bottom. Go to global modifiers, global data and masks, textures, boom. And we're going to drop in our RGBA color mask, which we'll be renaming soon. Okay. I'm going to do that now. We're going to do File or Shift Control E. Output templates. We'll take our Poyomi V10 and we'll duplicate it. And we'll rename this one to 11. All right. Then, rather than having all these different masks, we have RGBA color masking, decal masking, these ones being the main ones because they have all 4 sets. We'll go to masks 1 underscore 1. So it doesn't matter which one we're using now. Masks 2. Heck, these ones can all be put into their own set because that's another 4 right there. User 8, 9, 10, 14, and 15. So some of these are out of order. 4, 5, 7, 0, 2, 3. So we want 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, right here. Where is it again? 4, 5, 6, 7. This one should be 8. 8, 9, 9, 10, and 11. Zero, meant to grab this one. All right. Boom, boom, boom. This one will be masks 4. Actually, copy that. Move it. Add in another one of these. Beautiful. 12, 13, 14, 15. Beautiful. Okay. And that's the one we want to use right here. Export. Save. So there should just be one. There is only one. Get rid of this one. Totally new. It'll be just my luck that the freaking fur mask doesn't even use this. That'll be a non-zero chance that happens. Okay. And now we're in the first thing. Mask here. Damn. About that. Hmm. There's nothing else I can do there. It's just its mask value. I only have masks 1, which I think kind of works. No, I guess it is working. All right, perfect. Got kind of an interesting fold there. Turn up that layer count to something ridiculous. That will do right about there. Can I adjust our dithering? That's a good question. That is not part of the fur, so. I think 16 is fine. Maximum length. Okay. Actually, be nice to go even further, but I can't. That might be because of the height map, though, because the height map has gray in it. I fix that image, so let's select it here. Open up Photopea. Go ahead and duplicate this noise. I'm going to move it. Control X. Can I use Control X in the Unity editor? Can't remember. Drop that right here. Boom. Drop it into Photopea. Do Control L. Something like that. Here. This one should be, I think I have to tell it to be a linear image. Okay, no, that's disabled, so it is a linear image right now. Cool. Loaded new. Fur. So this will be our new height map right here. It looks a little bit thicker. Oish. I might inflate it too. Take like the center and kind of push it out of ways. Sculpt it. Something like that. All right, what else? You can turn up the ambient occlusion to get more shadow in the fur, which definitely makes it look fuzzier. Excuse me. Sometimes the Poyomi UI just like breaks. I don't understand why. D, client work, reference. Oh. Okay, and so it's just like a very solid black color. Something probably a little bit brownish. Kind of like that. Okay. All right, that wasn't too crazy. Hue shift. Yeah. Too much. We'll go with that. Save. Back to Blender. let's adjust our objects a little bit more. So for our jacket, I'm actually going to add deform, displace, add a group, displace, collar, which should survive our data transfer because I don't think the body has that group. So, bada boom. We go to weight painting. And we'll get weird with it. Something like this. Definitely looks quite strong. Smooth the heck out of it in a second. We also want to click right there. Smooth. All right, that looks weird. Not too shabby. All right, that will give us a nice volume on the jacket. Let's test it out right now. Just waiting that to load. Perhaps too much. I like it a little bit more up here, but the collar, where the collar lands, is just looking kind of fugly. So back here, back to our weight paint. And we'll hit it with one of these. And we'll also remove it from here. Okay, so that should keep the kind of original positioning for the front, but still allow us to get thicker in the back. Still some intersection right there. All right, we're actually going to do some more displacement. First, we're going to make sure that on our jacket low poly, sorry, tank top, put that back up there. We're going to switch to random colors in here. Go back to our weight painting, turn down that strength, turn down that weight. Just going to paint out where it is intersecting. Just not give any reason. For there to be an issue. We'll probably do this here and then also do a UV discard to completely ensure issues. I don't know if displacement's really the best option, because it is going to distort the texture somewhat. I could do offset by mesh proxy. You know, let me try that actually. I'm going to turn this off, and we'll add in mesh proxy. Offset via mesh proxy normals. So we'll drop that on. And the object we're going to reference is just the body low. And we'll use that same displace. Wait, sorry. That should be one. Displace color. One. But this way, it just pushes away from the body rather than worrying about the object normals. It's moving away from the object it's getting wrapped around, which honestly is great. Yeah, that looks a lot better. So this was what we have now versus this one. And the main issue that I'm seeing is this distortion right here, which is very minimal in this example, but you can see kind of it's like ballooned, whereas here it's still crisp. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. Just smooth out some of this kind of sharpness. Overall, that just looks way better. Cool. Nice. Pleased with that. Move the displace. That was a good one to make. I think I will do a tutorial about that one because it just makes things quite simple. Okay, on to the next. Close this. Ooh, ah, ooh. Interesting. Interdasting. Good morning, Foxhound. Hello. We're working on the boy right now. So we still have some clipping on the arms. Pretty darn good. Yeah, okay. Back one more time. I didn't notice that. Jacket low poly and poly low poly. On outline. That makes it pretty clear. I probably could automatically make that. We're just going to build up the back a little bit. All right, not too shabby. Still seeing some clipping, well, only at a distance. How's your morning going, Foxhound? Right, I just made it not intersect with the tank top. That's what it was. That's why I didn't see that. You know, before we go any further, let's also do the same thing with our tank top. No reason not to do two birds with one stone. Doing quite good. My cat's recovering really well. She's doing a lot better today than she was doing yesterday. And progress is going well. We got the jacket kind of in Unity. Still a little bit more work to do. We need to clean up the kind of the chest here. But we're just making it fit right now. And I think it's looking pretty good. Oh, excuse me. Mask. Data transfer. Where's my main concern? When you get to a stopping point, can I see how it looks? It's already on there. So we got the Oh, we got the fur on the face right here. Looks pretty dope. So it kind of gets fuzzier. You can really see the design on the character, the like body. Let me turn off the jacket. Right there. Looking nice and fuzzy. There's a few other looks we can kind of get out of it. It's in the decal. Yeah. What? Pre-multiply. So we could add a pre-multiply. That does not look as... Actually, does. Yeah, never mind. Ignore that part. It's not going to look as good as it did previously. But overall, pretty nice. It like kind of blends in from the main angles, which I think is preferable, because then it'll mesh nicely with all the animations and things like that. Point one. There we go. Cool. That looks quite nice. Okay. Then let's enable the clothing original. I just want to make sure that this goes above pants, which now it does. Should actually double check our jacket now. With all that. Beautiful. All right. Nice clean adjustments to get those clothes fit. Much better than... Nice. Every time I go through my workflow, it gets a little bit better. A little bit better. So he does have fur on his eyebrows. The reference image you sent, I believe, didn't have eyebrows the same way they were before, but I can paint them in. Okay, maybe I just missed them because in here. Okay, I see them now. I just thought it was part of the like kind of mask that I see them there. Hiding. Yeah, we can add those in. And export. Let's turn off outline. Something's looking weird. Right. New rig. Bam. 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 So jacket, close up the center. Should be good. Oh, right. I have a meeting later. Bam. Able to recreate the tufts of fur that you used in the original model. I'd like to see how they look on him in comparison to the ones you added. Um, no, I don't think I'd be able to have. I don't think I'd have time for that because the face shape has changed enough to match the references that you've sent that we've been targeting. Because like his face is kind of a little bit smaller, taller, and then kind of more pointed. So where that fur originally was is like kind of offset. It'd just be like floating, or you'd see gaps and stuff. So I don't know if it'd be a kind of a good one-to-one comparison because it's not built for this new face. Where do we end up on vertex count? Tank top looks good. A little bit of clipping right there. That's through the fur. That looks good. I like the tank top. Nice to clean up this little stretch there. Jacket fits over it super nicely. Okay, let's clean up the front of the jacket. Woo! it too high poly. In fact, I'll put this in here just to. All right. So what we'd like to do is right here, this curves up. It looks cool. I like that it's curving. We do need to make sure these little points are right on the edge as they move up. I think we're going to need some additional geometry here as well. So I'm going to put this there. Rip this again. And I think we'll just create kind of like a temporary triangle right there. Yeah, that works. Bam. And in fact, I'm going to cheat and do the same thing here. I'll do another little triangle right there just to fill that in. Get this over. I don't know why I can see it so well from the back. The retopo should be hiding the normals. Maybe I could just adjust it in the material itself. I don't want to add a material. Maybe I can disable, yeah, backface falling there. Funny. That should work. Oh. Always sad to triangulate a mesh so much because it does get a little ugly. However, it is needed. Just gets a little beat up after a while. All right. Excuse me. So I think what we'll do is cry. Switch our retopo to 0.01. I could just eliminate it completely, I would. I don't know why it struggles to disable the back view. Super helpful if it. Whatever. That's good. All right. But here, that goes. All this goes to the edge. Which looks pretty good. Start here, actually. All right. Okay. What next? We'll just extrude that here, I suppose, and then close this side up. Even gonna project. All right. So now we've got this collar here. It looks pretty good. Now we just need to fill in the other side right here. Tough part is this one is just so thin. Very, very, very thin. I think I actually will just have to mark this sharp because there's no way it's going to work properly otherwise. It does, but that's my instinct. Do something like this. And I'm going to not okay, perfect. All right. Let's look at the UV editing. I know we will need to reset this. It's got to be one of my favorite songs right now. Actually, don't know if y'all can even hear the music that's being played. Do that? Is that worth doing? Perhaps. Save. Okay, let's turn on these two again. Turn off this collection. We'll do that one. We have to turn on the full editing. Which takes 1 billion years to load. I could probably reference them. Easier. Okay. All right, export, return here, mode, bake, shift control R, refresh it so we get the rest of our geometry. One issue though. This one. And this one. Or, sorry. Offset bit. All of that. And put it on both of them so I can toggle them a little bit easier. And try again. Save. Fresh. Beautiful. Bake. Still getting a little bit of clipping right here, it looks like. That must be the back face getting skipped. There's some sort of clipping happening right there. That looks pretty good though. I think I'll mark one of these sharp too. That looks really good right here. That turn. Ooh. Looks good. So let's go here. Look at the high poly. Ooh. Yawn. I don't see any clipping here. It must be sampling into this little Helios. I'm actually going to turn on fill. You know what? I am definitely going to turn on fill because that looks good. A little crunchy on the buttons. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Export collections. Save. Here. Load. Bake. Bake. Yay, it's fixed. Okay. Okay, that looks pretty fucking good. Fine. All right. Save. And back here. Back over here. Click all these things. Actually, should be able to leave it like that. Right. Nope. Mm. Shouldn't interfere too much with the body. Doesn't at all. Beautiful. Hmm. Oh, didn't export the new textures. Much nicer. Much, much nicer. I feel like we need to blur the edges here. Definitely certain angles, the fur just kind of disappears. That would be because we don't have backface rendering on. Doesn't make a difference there. All right, we'll go here. Look at our mask for user Zira. And on our fur collar, I'm going to disable this, add in a anchor point above this. This is actually what we'll use for our which allows us to drop some filters on there. Let's start with a bevel actually, because that a little bit nicer. Try to blur. Blur and then duplicate this, put it above and set it to multiply. So that way we get this nice little fade off. We can filter blur one more time. Just get rid of those harsh edges. Then we'll add a paint in order to clean up this seam here. All right, that's the game plan. We'll save, we'll export. Yeah, it looks a little better. Even more blur on this one. No real way for me to nicely get rid of that. So what I'm going to do instead is add another fill. Set this to planar projection. I'm going to do a fill with a alpha shape, because that should give us one of these. Set this to linear dodge. Shrink it down. Turn off repeat. And just put it right here. Like that. And that should give us a nice cut, which we can blur if needed. We'll kind of get the trim, top of the trim. Okay, try that. Beautiful. 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 Or darken there. What it is like this sharp cutoff on the button. That looks a little odd. So let's just do that final fix. just going to turn this button too. Give that a shot. Is everything set up for baking? No. Let's turn off the offset. Put it down again. Oh, save again. Export all collections again. Save. Painter. Refresh. We missed something. That is turning that off. Load, bake. Bake again. All right. Let's get those eyebrows done. Should be pretty good for the body moving. Let's just do a little quick. I don't know if this test will work. Should work. All right, so things are off. Interesting. The eyeballs jump down there. But the rig is working. The animation on the jacket looking good. And the tank top. Okay, yeah, that's because the position of the eyes is offset from where the bone is. So when the eyeball rotates, it's actually like moving it. It's orbiting the eyeball instead of rotating the eyeball. So easy fix. It looks cool. I like this look. Fingernails should be working though. There we go. It's still not attached. Is that true for our feet as well? Interesting. All of the little logs. Oh, that's a fur hair. You can move that. All right. So back to our low poly. This one should work. The reason it's not working must be because the geometry node doesn't have the vertex group. So in order to fix that, these are all the individual pieces. No, they don't have any vertex group. Okay, so then, yeah, we absolutely need to assign vertex groups. Shows a way that was slightly faster. Well, come back to it. I have to go to the restroom. I'll be back in just a moment. Hello. Hello, I'm back. Had to go feed the cats too, so took a little bit longer. Okay, so funnily enough, our claws here, they don't have any value. So they all share the same cube data, so we'll call this claw foot. So when I create a vertex group, it should create it for all of them. Super useful. Ooh. What we need to do, a data transfer may not be the best option in this case. Okay. This body, low poly, non-bake, Alice Baker. Kind of curious, how was it baked before? I guess I must have just combined them and done with it at that point. So, but they're all in different positions, and I don't like that. I actually think that that's an issue. So we're going to combine them into a single object. So we have the low poly non-bake. It's not getting sent to the baking collection, blah, blah, blah. We'll call this pieces. And then we'll add one more collection, which will be body low poly non-bake merged. Right here. And then before we do anything outside of our current collection, we're just going to remove mirror 1 from all of these objects. Which means we should just be able to say copy modifiers. That's a subdivision. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's right. Then here, get rid of that one. Also, copy modifiers. Perfect, that's looking much better. All right, then in this other collection, we'll call this object. Claws or non-big objects merged. And save. Delete. Then we'll add geometry node, just join selected collection. We'll use that collection. Then we'll add data transfer to the body. Low. We'll use vertex data, vertex groups, nearest base interpolated, and generate data layers. That's the most important part, and what would have been really difficult with the other objects. That's done. Now, data transfer, we'll add a mirror. And then we'll add it to our body baker. That should be all we need to do. Because right now we have non-baked pieces. Place that, save, and update. Beautiful. Oh. Back again. All right. So I believe we did just update. Good, things are moving. This one's probably going to be the most problematic if we have any issues. And well, we don't really. Nice. Beautiful. One thing we're missing though that surprised me was a little paw pad. I think that's currently just in a different collection. We can probably just throw it right back in there and we'll be good. So go to the body low poly, select this, and move it to body edit pieces. That will update it for everything else. Not quite. Not quite, because this one needs to be in this collection in order to bake properly, so we can reference it with a geonode. Let's go back to the merged, and we'll use our fancy little geonodes, like this one. New one, geometry node. Move it right here, and we'll say join selected object, and the object we want to join is this one. Bam. Perfect. I love geometry nodes. Update that again. Take a little look-see. Right. We're going to turn on all our layers again. Beautiful. The lighting over here. So what we need to add now are eyebrows. We'll do that over the pattern. I don't know why it doesn't show the base color preview in the layer. That's annoying. But patterns right here. Okay, we should just be able to add a new layer here. Eyebrow. We're going to add a paint layer, and we're going to use these guys. Something like that. Then we can adjust our size, make it quite small. And I believe we have the option to fill now. entirely sure what that is. So let's go look at it. Substance, painter, path, middle. Path type. That's in the properties panel. Should be this one. Brush. Paint. Maybe it's not available in the mask. What is he painting on? Yeah, he's just painting on a paint layer. Maybe that's the trick. So make a paint. Use this tool. And I still don't see it. Brush. I do have the properties, right? Properties, paint along path. And for, okay, and looking at their image, when they have the paint, this tool selected, it's actually a different window. It's not the brush window. So I must have an older version of Substance. So let's go ahead and do File, Edit, somewhere in here. Settings. How do I update? Usually updates automatically. Oh, that's cool. Hmm. That's cool. Didn't realize there was a whole nother category just for user submissions. Where do I check for updates? Okay, I must have to log into Adobe or something. Man, software is full of side quests. So many side quests. Loading. Might have to restart my computer. Hi. Yeah. Yeah. Hello. What? Oh, that's certainly a lot of updates. Okay, so Painter, update. Oh, let me close it. I always do that. Wee. Waiting. What are you waiting for? Let's update Creative Cloud first. All right, we're just chilling then. Ooh. Okay, we just chilling. Loading. Loading, loading. Ooh. All right, substance should be updated now. Okay, so auto update assets. Need to auto update. Cool. Build paths, yes. Snap point improvements. New filters. Interesting. Painterly ones. Cool. Baking auto cage. Oh, that's awesome. Very cool. Those are some good updates, actually. And it did. Yeah, it's okay. So we were making a layer called eyebrow, and we were trying to use a paint layer. It's paint path. Paint path. Hello, Arctic. Welcome. And we can switch this to fill, or can we? I want to select the path first. And change it. Yes, beautiful. That is super useful, to be honest. Just directly doing freaking path painting on objects with fill. Fill's been a struggle to do properly. I actually used to just start baking it as actual mesh in Blender. This will save a lot of time. Set this to dark. It's a little wobbly. I guess that's just the geometry then. Cool. It's over a little bit more. Let's I think we'll make it just a tiny bit lighter. And then do an anchor point. Just popping in for a moment. Gotta go again in a minute. Well, it's good to see you. If I don't catch up before you head out again. Hope you have a great weekend. Oh. It's certainly going by fast today. Very fast. I'll actually have to end the stream in about 20 minutes. I was hoping to finish all this stuff, but you know, things take time. Generator, no, filter, bevel, with verse subtract. It's very, it must be touching the projection depth 0.01. Add a filter anti-alias. Bevel, uniform, smooth. Turn that down a ways. Also, filter anti-alias, just get a little bit more. And on this one, I want this to be really dark. So I love that smooth transition. Call this eyebrow shadow. Down the smooth. The aliasing is actually kind of a pain. You can see a little bit of an edge there. Now we're using inverse subtract. So I don't have to. If I duplicate this, it loads. actually review the image before I get carried away and exporting. I want to make sure that the eyebrow actually looks as it should. That would be right there. Let's say it's pretty close. Let me shoot a screenshot over. Or Foxhound, are you here? Let's get it in Unity so we can get better. Do 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 do. It's a little it's lost because of the reflection. Might need to actually change the roughness as well, because it just kind of disappears in that haziness. Certainly going a little slow. Have to be like right down there to actually be visible. Save. Get a screenshot over to client. Okay, very cool. Actually, get all of the clothing in there. It's going to look a little goofy right now, but we do need it all in there. It's actually going to be way too many vertices, so I'll have to split them up into multiple objects. Loading. Bam. Save. All right, we got all our clothing in. Be nice to have a little edge right there. We are missing some fur here and here. Got to add that. They also look pretty good though. Thought I'd be able to blend it in. We only have hue shift, vertex normal, so pop that back up. Just darken it. Cool. It looks nice and soft though. So let's get a look at our controls, because we have VRC Fury, gestures, and toggles, which we made previously, and thankfully the object assignments are working properly. That is very cool to see. Shoe has invalid normals. I don't care. And we can see quite a few of our objects are already off. Let's turn off. Yeah, it doesn't matter because it'll automatically figure it out. So jacket, tank top. This is our default character we're looking at. And if we go to here, we're going to create an empty. We'll do, yeah, clothing, new, CF. This toggle will be clothing slash jacket. And it will be saved. Not default on. It will be an object toggle for the jacket. That's it for now. We might need an exclusive tag a little bit later, but I'll copy that. I'll paste component as new and do. So save. Let's hit play and see what happens. The eyes are gonna break, don't worry. That's okay. We're gonna need to adjust our original clothing too. Oh, he's got the slutty waist. stretch that out a little bit more. And I would like the reverse to normals or the back faces to also render on the clothing, which would allow us to unlock. Let's go to the bottom. Rendering. Not make it look. Again. Oh, the data transfer is not working. These should be getting weight painted. Or, yeah, they should be moving with the body. That's a big no-no. That's in our fur combined here, and it probably doesn't have the vertex groups, so generate. Then we won't recombine yet because what we'd like to do is actually update our rig, and let's do a backup copy. It's been a while since we've done one, but better safe than sorry. So we'll say just continuing updates, save. Rig, boom. And now update. So it should be just the face that needs to be moved around. Should be. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be straightforward to do. That's what it means. Okay, let's get those eyebrows. We don't want it to rotate. Positions for the whole selection. Something like that. Should check the vertex groups. Okay, that looks nice. And shape. That's what it was. That confused me. Let's disable this body and turn on this one so we can place these without seeing all the freaking fur. Cool. Bottom one. There. This one's. All right. Match to rig, recreate, send to VR chat, review again. Well, actually, wait, paint the eyes, because those are not working. Beautiful. All right, let's take a look at those. Wait, what were we waiting on there? Were we just waiting for this one to update? I don't think so. It's the other one. Update. We're just waiting for it to match to rig. That's what it was. Problem when loading takes so long, just like sitting there. I really should actually think of all my time. It's like there's how fast I can do it, and then there's how fast literally Blender can move. Those are two different speeds. I really should actually take that into account with my timing. Because, I mean, if everything I do, so often there's so many steps. It's like if I do this takes 3 minutes to load, which it does. If I do that 10 times a day, that's 30 minutes. And I'm probably doing it like 20 or 30 times a day, which would be 900 minutes. 900 minutes? 60. Which would just be like an hour and a half, right? Yeah. But that is a considerable amount of time. And I should just be a little bit more of that. All right, not too shabby. Most of these look quite good. Wait, are things still off center? Is the eye still rotating there? Should not be. Or the eye has additional weights on it. No, it's definitely just in the wrong location. Look at that. Must be that there's a different. Holy shit! Please load. Okay, I actually have to go soon. Because I gotta I'm tutoring at 1, and fuck. I don't know why this is taking such an ungodly amount of time. This operation never was this slow in the past. Maybe it's not the eye moving, but the. That is definitely rotating too much. And yeah, look at. Okay. So they must have both eyeballs influencing it. So here, vertex groups. Let's search for eye. We'll find these two. Boom, boom. And then we're just going to delete all unlocked groups. So I'm lazy and I don't want to figure out why it's going wrong. Oh, actually, sorry. One more. Back up just a little bit. I want to include the selection. Left, right, boom, save. Okay, that should fix that. I still need to update the rig because those eye bones are pointing the wrong way. So select the rig, edit the reference bones, and then for these bones right here, the issue is the roll. So you see how they're kind of tilted? You need to recalculate that roll on the z-axis. Should fix it. Matched rig. And I'm going to start saying goodbye for now because I got to go eat. And then we're doing our tutoring. So thank you all for hanging out. Hope you're all having an amazing day. I'll be back. I may do a bit of streaming tomorrow. I'm not going to hold myself to it, but I would like to get more work on Foxhound done because it just feels like some things are getting dragged out. I would have really liked to have been done today instead of very close to done. But I got to go. So hope everyone's having an amazing day. Same to you, Arctic. Enjoy your weekend. I may be back on Saturday, but if not, Monday. Bye, Arctic. Anyone else that's lurking? Hope you're all having an amazing day, an amazing weekend. See you Monday.